Hello YouTube. I've been a long time since I made the video. I've been on a vacation, so that's why. So now I'm gonna sharpen one of the best shoppers I've ever tried by Patrik Carlvik and show how I think edge should be built up, both for penetrating the wood with minimal effort, but also to have some strength in the edge. I always thin and build the edge up higher and higher and higher without having any shoulder on the edge. And that's important. If you got shoulders, they will bind and create drag. So yeah, gonna use the GNS 300, Naniwa Professional 1000, Naniwa Professional 3000, and then lastly my favorite natural, Ohira medium hard from Shosui takeda. It's around 8000 grit, maybe even finer. I got some new naguras. This is a synthetic 400 one. I can't remember what it is called. I got it from someone I met on Facebook. And this is a natural stone nagura. I have no clue what it is either. So those stones were incredibly dirty, so I'm just gonna clean off my hand. I'm gonna start by flattening the DNS 300. It's a splash and go, as you see. It soaks minimally because it's lacquered on the outside and bottom. I'm just making sure it's flat because I'm thinning my blade. I need to have a flat stone so I don't create an uneven edge and blade road and bevel. That's all it took before the stone was flat. There. I hope you can see everything. It's the best angle I got. I've just marked the edge with Sharpie. As you can see here, it's still screaming sharp. So I'm gonna take off the edge. I'm just using the back side of my 1000. Can you see it doing 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna do 5 times. 4 and 5. I'm gonna check for doneness. It already was pretty sharp, but I used it heavily and abused it, so it's time to get some new steel. As you see, completely done. This got 2 or 3. Just this is the thickest part here. It grinds down thinner here, so it doesn't get stuck as much in wood, and you can feel it. I think it's a little bit hollow here. I might be wrong, or if it's convex or anything, it actually feels a little hollow. I might be wrong, but it got a bevel down here, and from here and down it's convex. I'm gonna thin it here. The same on both sides, and make the edge at around 5th, even thinner. I'm thinning here at maybe 5-6 degrees, like a kitchen knife. I got tore off a corner of the edge. This is a very fragile stone, so I'm thinning at 7-8 degrees. This is a very good stone, but it's fragile. This is my favorite shopper. He makes some extremely good knives, Patrik Carlvik. I'm using very light pressure because the stone does the work. So you don't need a lot of pressure here, just the weight of the knife is enough. Where did I put it there? There we can clearly see I removed metal. Can you see that? From higher up than the edge. And the edge isn't being touched at all. So yeah. You can see it's more polished there, so I'm not removing much, just maybe not even a tenth of a millimeter maybe, but that's enough to see improvements. Doing some long strokes just to evenly make sure I thin even. There, checking it, that's about right. I can show you, and remember, this is a chopper. It's it's thin. I can actually measure it, and this is before I'm done. Just getting it dry here. Let's see. Just getting most of the water away. I get a caliper here. And I'm using metric, so about 1 centimeter. Oh, let's see. I can mark it. That's there it is. About 1 centimeter to 1.5. That's pretty high up the blade, as you see. You see how high up that is? It's a good bit up the grind. It's let's see, did I bump it? Let's see, can you see how far up I measure? If I do like this, you see how high up. I'm just finding it. There, it's locked. That's 1 point. Let's see, 1, 2, 3. 1.3 millimeters. If I'm not mistaken, maybe 1.5, sorry, I can see it even better in the camera. 1.5 millimeter stick that way up the blade. That's thin. At what people call the shoulder of the edge, this hasn't got a shoulder, but that where you can see the edge begin, it's 0.3. 0.3 millimeter. I remember this is before I'm complete thinning it. And this is how thin a shopper can be without failing at the very edge, or at as close as I can get it. It's 0.1 millimeter. 0.1. And that's before I'm done. So as you see, Aaron, you can take your knives pretty damn thin. Yeah, I'm done with that side. And it doesn't take much on a coarse stone like this. This is very easy to grind, 8670. It's at HRC 61 if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna show you afterwards. This I haven't got a soil shot, but the tip, how damn thin this is. Trust me, this is a world-class performing blade. I would love Patrik Carlvik if you can make me one in better steel, and I can really push the limits of what a knife can do. For example, Magna Cut or 4V or something. I'm always checking where do I remove metal. Here you actually see, and that's intended. I can show you and explain why. It's thinner. Can you see that? Here's all the Sharpie gold, but not here. There is the power shopping, where you do your heavy bam bam into things, will be here. This is mainly for batoning. This is mainly for fast cuts, fast snapping limbs off and such. So I made it slightly thinner now. So let's see a little more here. I'm using just the weight of the knife. I'm probably removing 1/10 of a millimeter, maybe up to 1/5 of a millimeter, if I'm guessing and by experience. I'm doing long strokes to make sure I'm uniform. There, I'm just cleaning it up, doing long strokes, just cleaning it up. Just gonna remove some soap and such here so I don't poke them with the tip. Let's see there. You can still see, right? Yeah, sorry for that. And the same here, just long strokes, making sure it's uniform. So Patrik, if you see this, make me some new knives. It's about time. I got a very special knife I'm waiting for getting made by Aaron Johnson, which is also a maker I absolutely love. You have seen my Chinese cleaver from him. The outdoor blade is the best outdoor blade I've ever made. It's my own design. It's one blade that does all. Let's see, that looks just about perfect. Can you see how damn thin that is? It's dangerous holding it like, but there, can you see it gets thinner here, thickest hair and slims down. Look at how incredibly thin that is. That is how thin you can take a chopper around without any edge failure. I'm gonna raise the angle just slightly, maybe up to 10 degrees. And yes, I know that's where so-called extreme Japanese kitchen knives, blah 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 is. I don't care. It's the steel, and yeah, so many Goloks, Parangs, Bolos have been sharpened at 10-12 degrees for years. And that are cheap as steels with ridiculously easy heat treats. So yeah, this has gotten a good heat treat, good steel. So it's not a problem at all. Because the final edge, the very tip of the edge, is gonna be at around 15 to 17 degrees. Then when I strop it, it's all blended together. That looks spot on. I got a burr. So damn thin and easy to deburr, I'm actually not sure. It looks like I'm there. I'm gonna sharpen the backside and then try the paper because it's so thin. And the 8670 deburrs itself almost. Most good steels do, so it's hard to tell a burr. At least when you have done martial arts and fucked up your fingers so many times. I've done some welding too, and no, I wasn't a welder, and yes, I suck at welding, and no, I cannot say anything about welding. I just welded shit together when I was young and fucked up my fingers doing so. And then I did martial arts, a little grappling, MMA, and fucked them up even more, so that's why I have a hard time telling about the burr. So I probably over sharpen quite a bit, but yeah, this isn't a big deal. Isn't a burr there. Let's see, I'm nearing the edge. That's perfect. I'm nearing the edge there. Just drinking some water. It isn't vodka, it's water. Get yourself a strong light and you can see the blade where it's polished. I'm gonna increase from 10 to around maybe 13, 14, 15 degrees. And that's where I'm gonna put my final edge at before blending it all together. And I'm slightly rocking, doing this when sharpening, ever so slightly, maybe 2 to 3 degrees. This is a technique you'll learn by being a little lazy at the wrist. Got the burr at the uppermost part of the blade. Just gonna do the bottom part. That's the part that got the most abuse. So that's the part that needs the most sharpening. The tip often see quick snip snap cuts through saplings. This part is betoning, hard carving, etc. This is power shopping. So if you power shop with your tip, yeah, learn to use a blade. I actually think maybe I'm there. I'm gonna check afterwards. I'm doing the other side. Same thing, rocking ever so slightly. Starting at around 10, then going to 12-ish, 13, 14, 15, and stopping around there. I never go past 15 degrees. I don't see the need, even access tops 16, 17 per side is more than enough. By my experience, your use may vary, but often going higher doesn't mean the edge takes more abuse. Actually, it can go the other way, because the force needed to do the cut increases by a heck of a lot on the very, very edge. This was extremely hard to tell. I'll try just gently stropping it on this and checking how it does on some magazine paper. Does it? Yeah, it wants to slice nearly, but it isn't there. It isn't there, so it isn't my fingers. Remember, I'm barely using any force, so I know I'm not squishing or bending the edge. And people watching are probably thinking, holy hell, that's taking a long time. Yes, because I'm using minimal force to not overstress the edge. And if that doesn't say you anything what stressing the edge means, then sorry, you aren't educated enough to make an opinion about my sharpening. I think that's it. Going to the other side. Doing the same thing, just using the weight of the knife and rocking. I don't want to stress the edge, I don't want to torque it using force. I just want to let the stone do the work and to blend that edge. That takes time. Don't think it's there. Checking. I can see the edge reflecting just ever so slightly. Very, very near. There, I'm pretty sure it felt like that. I'm so close, I'm gonna stop on this stone and do the rest on the 1000, just so I don't hurt and screw things more up than I need. Just taking off a little. I don't have a weak stone too, because the binder gets weak. Just taking off ever so little, washing it. And it's the 1000 next from Naniwa. Also a splash and go. Just where can I put it? I'm just drying it out and leaving it, doing that so it don't crack. To dry there, just drying it off and leaving it to air dry. And flattening this also, always make sure things are flat. And you can do 8 figure 8s if you are unsure, but hey, I just do some circles, I do some back and forth. And it's usually more than enough. This has seen some use, so it's got a little here. There, rounding the corners. There. Wiping my hands. And we're at 26 minutes. I'm guessing an hour, maybe 1.5. That's the time it takes. Starting behind the edge. And I'm just dragging off once, twice the edge. If I got any burr, it's way too weak, so making sure I haven't got any big particles. And I'm ready. Starting behind the edge again. And behind the edge I'm using 200-300 grams. I'm sorry about you guys in the USA, I can't do imperial, I can't do pounds, but half a kilo is it other way? 1 pound is 2 kilos, or is 1 kilo 2 pounds? I can't remember. Use a metric converter. I'm using maybe 300 grams of force, and it's getting really sticky onto the stone. That means I got the blade bevel completely flat. And as you see, it's such a soft metal, so it's actually taking off the stone to grind. It's a easy to grind metal. It looks good. I'm not bothering about polish. Just getting the worst scratches off, because big scratches means it's easier to rust. And I'm very careful and usually very good at keeping and wiping and getting my blades dry, but this helps. Getting the deepest scratches out. There, looks good. Going to the edge. I wish this was taller like here, and these were lower, but hey, you can't get anything you want. And the Naniwa Professional, it's such a good stone. I can feel everything. I can feel actually where I bent the edge when I did the abuse test. I never get it completely 100% straight through, and I feel that very much on the stove. But it's gonna sharpen and straighten and sharpen and straighten itself out over time. And the edge was still as sharp after that, so yeah. Just insane. Just gonna... yeah, I sharpened that, so that's where the burr at. Feel the burr going to the other side, creating a burr. And I can feel, as I said, where it's bent. It's right there, and it's kind of wobbly. And I'm doing the edge, I'm just using the weight of the blade. It's more than enough. And you see by the swerve that it's cutting pretty good. So I can't wait for Patrik to make me some more knives. You have said you were supposed to, so I'm waiting. And Darren got a very special knife he's gonna make me in a pretty new, exciting steel. And that's all I'm gonna tell. I'm not telling anything more until I got the knife. And Darren, don't tell. It's gonna be a big surprise on my channel when that blade arrives. There. I think that's about it. Or it was pretty much abuse, so I removed a good bit of metal and I dragged the edge 5 times. Maybe that's why it's taking so long. There, just using the slightest amount I can muster, barely kissing the edge to weaken the burr. They want lateral, trying to get it to remove, going edge into, edge away, edge into, edge away, edge into, edge away. Just making sure the edge is as uniform as I can get it. And the glass was in the way. This is it's not very long or big, but it's pretty substantial chopper. Just stropping it. I think I actually knocked the edge into the stone. That would be so typical me. I do mistakes all the time, and I'm not afraid to show them because that's a huge step on my channel, being completely honest about everything. You won't find any product or anything video I'm not 100% honest on. Just stropping it a little on my pants leg so it's dry, and maybe if there's a tiny burr, not bother refining it much since it's 1,000 stone. I'm gonna quit on a natural. Is that in view? From completely dull to magazine paper cutting. Pretty effortless magazine paper cutting. It snags some here and there, but yeah, that's more than sharp enough. The tip is sharp too. That's all I'm gonna bother showing before I'm done, which isn't too long away. Just taking off ever so slightly, just making sure, because these stones have a tendency to micro fracture, and that sucks. I've told this so many times. Naniwa can change the binder on them or anything to make sure they are a little more durable. Here, also leaving that to just air dry. It's important. Putting the side I used to sharpen with down. I'm going to the 3000. Making sure that is flat too. Wetting the stone could help, of course. And I'm not pressing hard down on the diamond plate, I'm just using firm pressure. Nothing more, not hard pressure, just a firm hand. Maybe in kilos, no grams, say 500 grams, half a kilo. That's all. You don't need to press very hard. That's all it took. Rinsing off the stone and the plate. Wiping my hands. I'm just gonna get another towel. So I have one that is very dry to do my hands on. That is avocado oil bottle. I usually buy cheap ones like this from IKEA. They are great. Just wiping off the blade so there aren't any grit. If you wonder if you got bite, just do like this. Just gently touch the cloth, and if it cuts it, you got bite. Again, using barely any pressure behind the edge, getting the worst of the scratches off. I can feel it wobble there, but I feel it's straightening itself out on the stone. And the Naniwa 3000 is actually a pretty good cutter. As you see, it cuts immediately. It's a fast cutting stone. You can actually raise a burr on this stone. So yeah. Yep, just removing the worst scratches. As I said, I don't care about polish. It's a damn chopper. It's not a pretty knife that's gonna just be shown around and not used. This is seeing hard use. That's why it's so damn thin too. So so it can do hard work like cutting trees in 1 or 2, maybe tops 3 swings, and cutting stuff that's like this big don't take much. Wrist sized is usually 1, maybe 2 cuts. I've shown this, so you've seen on the 2x4 how damn good it was. So yeah, I have nothing to prove. If you disagree with me or need proof, just watch my channel videos. If that's not good enough for you, that's your problem. I ain't on YouTube to argue or to prove myself or blah blah blah. I'm here to have fun, sharpening and doing what I like. That's good. Moving to the edge. Just kissing it. That's all you need. The finish on a strop. A Stropman strop, may he rest in peace. I bought from the original man who started Stropman. What was his name? Was it Robert something? I can't remember, but damn that he made some good strops. May he rest in peace. And yes, I know I'm spending much time on this because I want the edge to be polished and to be fine. I'm not doing dual grit sharpening or anything like that. Yes, I think it has some benefits, but it isn't for me. I use my blade in a different way and for different things. This is a curved wood knife, and then it needs to be polished. That's damn sharp. Here. That's scary sharp. That's scary sharp. You see when you do all the coarse work on the coarse stones, how fast you can progress. If you don't care about polish, that is. Now this is a stone I'm gonna use some time on. Again, I'm removing the outermost edge, doing one very lightly into the stone. And people are probably watching and saying, idiot, idiot, you ruin your own work, blah blah blah. Well, I'm removing fatigued metal. At least from my testing, this, we can argue what's scientific and not, but my own testing, which is literally maybe 100 hours. Oh, I'm kidding. It's probably with these blades doing field work maybe 40-50 hours. Testing, doing it this way, and with the conventional way, just progressing through the stones without removing the edge. This way, made for a stronger, more durable edge, because edge was less stressed to begin with. Is it pseudoscience, just something I believe in? It may be. I don't care. If it works for me, it works for me. I don't care what works for other people. I do it my way, and if that works for me, fine. Do what you want. If that works for you, good. Perfect. Just using slight pressure, since this is a natural. I'm just getting it flat. I found the naturals, at least how I like natural to perform, actually increase in performance by having a little coarser scratches in them. They seem to, I don't call it breathe, but not get so sticky. So, and they smell great. They smell earthy. When I've done that, I'm gonna try two naguras. First, the synthetic 400. Gonna just mark off one side, which I'm not using. That's that side. I'm drawing a grid size, a grid pattern, like that, just to make sure that's flat too. Because if that ain't flat, I'm taking that to a flat stone. Well, what's the point? That seems like a pretty hard nagura. I can actually do it that way with the water there. And that wasn't flat actually. If my Atoma diamond plate is flat, that is, and I would believe it is. You can see the corners. Just there, it's flat. And now I'm doing what I said I didn't like. I'm removing some of the more stubborn scratches, building up a little slurry. This seems like it would be an awesome sharpening stone, that 400 actually. Don't remember what it's called. I got it from someone I've got to know through Facebook. Ivar, if you are watching this, comment what the hell it was. I think it would make a good sharpening stone. And now I'm only gonna concentrate on the edge and the very part behind it. Maybe half a millimeter behind it and blending that into it. I'm gonna show you what I mean. I have no clue if you are able to see it. Of course it's polished, but can you see where the edge begins and ends? It's hard to see because I blended it into the profile. You can see I've dragged off the edge. Can you see it glinting there in the light? There at the palm. Can you see it? I can see it in the camera. I hope you can do too. You can also see it in the light there. I'm just checking so I haven't there. There's a big particle. That's what I'm checking for. So I don't slam any big particles into my edge. I'm just using, I can feel that is a 400 nagura, and I want a toothy edge to begin with. And I'm refining that slurry, but can you hear how scratchy this is? Good. And now I'm at around 17 degrees. This is making it slightly serrated and toothy. There. think that's all it's needed. Just washing away, and please, if you haven't done this, don't do it and cut yourself and blame me. Then doing it without anything. Just... And I'm gonna check, that seems to give me one hell of a bite. Is there anything? No, it's just the pattern from the natural stuff. I think this works a lot, since it's a lot like Arkansas. You can use it to create, yeah, that's actually making a pretty coarse scratch pattern. Like maybe a 600 to 800 grit. I hope I got just enough of the apex to create it again, but not taking off so much that I need to resharpen it. Let me see. Just wiping. Where the hell did I leave the paper? Where? Did I toss it in the bin or? There. I didn't see it. Sorry. Checking. Yeah, that's scary. That would slice rope. I'm just snagging because the apex is barely there. But that's one scary edge, and I got what I wanted. A very toothy edge. Now I'm gonna just refine and refine and refine that. And now I'm washing the stone very thoroughly. And the nagura has done its job. So little coarse. I think it will be a good sharpening stone. Leaving that to dry and trying the natural stone nagura. It seems maybe like a 2, 3, 4,000 grit nagura. Flash stone, just drawing on it to make sure it's flat. There, doing the exact same thing, just making sure it's flat, because if it isn't, look how uneven that was. Then think how uneven my stone would be after. This I'm using maybe kilo pressure now. I've removed quite a bit. Look how damn domed that was. Incredibly high spot. If I put this on this, it will be domed inwards. Is it concave? It's called when it's going inward. Yeah, I don't remember. Hollow is the word I'm looking for. I'm getting there, but as you see, it takes a lot of stone. It seems like a fairly hard one too. But it needs to be done. Hvor mye er klokka, Annette? Just asked my missus how much the clock was. It's 10 to 10. Just a little more. Just putting my glasses on. Just. And that's important. Always check. Your nagura ain't flat, then the stone you are using the nagura on won't be flat either. I know it's on a microscopic level, but hey, It's always good to check. There, that's flat enough. That small corners there won't do anything. So let's see how this does. Yeah, that's silky smooth. That's actually sticking to the stone. I have no clue what is nagura or a natural stone, what grit it is, but it seems pretty darn fine, because it ain't creating much of a slurry. It's slightly softer than the Ohira, and that's the good test thing, because it's the nagura I want to abrade. So that's all she wrote. I'm gonna do the edge with the nagura paste, and then without it, just using the slickness of the Ohira. We're gonna call it quit. Yeah, I'm gonna strop also. I need to find my strop. So it's back and forth. Yeah. Yes. Put them. I have a side which is, this is a Stroppman 4-stroke. This is black compound, green compound, white compound. It's Tormek paste. It's 1 micron diamond paste. I think it's 2 or 3 micron diamond paste. All is on that stuff. The smallest grit, no, sorry, the largest grit is 3000. The finest here is around 25. So just use that. I just stroke it a couple of times with my fingers, just to get off some gunk. I'm gonna use that afterwards. Just starting behind the edge a little, because the slurry will impact the edge. And my experience handling shoppers, I've had a few. Making mess, if you are intended to go through wood, making a mess, good polished you can. That's my experience. I'm just gonna clean the nagura here. I forgot to, because if I'm not mistaken, I may be Triple B, Larry Thomas, etc. Those are educated people. I'm not. I just go by what works for me, but more polished edges seems to take more abuse in my test. Seems to be more what do you call it? Stable. Seems to be more abuse capable. They just take a little more abuse. I'm washing off the slurry, off the blade, and I'm doing the very edge. I'm doing a little behind it, using actually 2 kilos of force. Maybe just smoothing it out. Oh, that's nearly, I sliced my fingers off, because it's so sticky onto the stone. It's like a suction cup. There. And Torgiro Pro, if you're watching this, get better, more grippy. Yeah, these two They're going on the back side, doing the same thing, and it's incredibly tough to do since the knife sucks itself onto the stone, and you know everything's dead flat. I got a little trick I do to improve the point here. I do like triangle. I sharpen there and there, like here. And yes, I'm scratching the stone. I don't care because I'm really getting the tip sharp for opening, say, potato chips, etc. I can actually, don't remember, LT Right does that to hit the back of the tip. It makes it like a needle. Just kissing the edge. And this stone is so fine now. It's like maybe 12K. It's barely doing anything. Just straightening those serrations, polishing them, slightly abrading them, making them finer and finer. So yeah. Just washing away, rinsing. Take 100% I'm burr free by going edge into, and watch how the water goes, and I know I'm making edge contact. There, going stropping once, twice, concentrating, going once pretty high, like maybe 20 degrees, 25 degrees. There. Again, drying it, and then I'm gonna stick it to a letter strop. Then I'm gonna check how sharp it is. I may have fucked things up, but I highly doubt it. Just going to a fresh piece of cloth and drying it, so I know it's dry before I take it to the strop, because I don't want to get water or things from the stones, etc. on my strop. So there. Just taking off the stone, again drying to make sure it's as dry as can possibly be, and again letting that air dry. It's lacquered, but it will sweat just the tiniest of it, so I put it there. And can I move it, guys? Does this work? Or did I just screw things up? You can see the strop here. Just it's a small kitchen. The stones are here drying. The kitchen can never be big enough. Trust me. I'm just making sure there's nothing contaminating the strop. When stropping, use light pressure, don't press down. Going slightly higher than I sharpen at, 25, just using the weight of the blade. nothing. This is barely removing any metal, if anything at all, that you can measure, at least with my equipment. Just way down there. And you want to barely kiss it, like if you can get 10 grams, use 10 grams. Use the lightest. If your lightest is 100, try reducing that to 50, then 25, etc. Light pressure. I'm going both ways. I found that makes me happy. I have no clue if it does anything to the edge, if I just go one way or both ways. That I actually haven't tested, and no, I can't be bothered. So I go both ways. I go from the shoil to the tip, and from the tip to the shoil. There, wiping off the compound. Getting the strop away. Get away from me, honey. Get away from me. Get away from me, honey, now. And we must sing a little Alejandro Fuentes. If he's watching this, I can sharpen your knives for free, Alejandro. If you can sail away with me, I can sharpen your knives. Okay? Yeah. I have no clue if it will do this. Tin magazine paper. Like, can you actually? Yeah, you can see my hand going through there. The light changing. That's how thin it is. Oh, I got the itch. Let's see. I haven't done anything behind the camera. That's if that doesn't tell you a knife is sharp, sorry, I don't know what will. I can't split hairs with this or whittle hairs, but what's the point? This will do anything you want a knife for. I mean, come on. And it's that sharp. What more sharp do you want? I'm not saying you can't get it sharper. You can make that knife easy, whittle hairs and split hairs and do free hanging hair test, blah blah blah, but that's not for me. This is the max sharpness I need. If it does this, yeah, it's a shopper. I'm gonna check if I have some baking paper. Also, I can do. Let's see here. Have we got anything open? No, we haven't got anything open. So I'm just opening and taking one sheet out. I found that baking paper also lets you really check your edge, because if there's the tiniest amount of burr or fail or chip or blah 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 blah, you can feel it. Also, taking your nail, just gently touch it, the gentlest. It should feel like it's sucking into. I can actually feel it's a little uneven. I'm just using this. Maybe I got some compound or anything. Gonna strop off this. This is linen. It's actually a great way to strop. You can strop on compound, all the jeans. You don't need expensive leather strops. Just I got something on my edge and I can feel it with my nail. Your nails are extremely sensitive. There, where was it? There's something there. Yep. I've actually gotten a tiny ship. Is that from my strop? It must be. It's so tiny I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna put my finger on it. Can you see it? There? You can see that, right? That's from stropping. That's a strop. That's something on the strop or stone. And that's why I always double check. That's a tiny, tiny, tiny amount. But that's something I need to get out. So I need to go back to my natural stone and get that out. And I'm not gonna show you that because I'm gonna sharpen it out. Just getting it quick and done. And it can be my natural is the one to blame. It might have been on the synthetic. It's so tiny I couldn't feel it at all, as you saw on the magazine paper, but my nail, it showed it. So that's what I'm saying. We always do mistakes. Now I did one. I'm 99% sure it's the strop. That's why I don't like stropping at all. I think it's yeah, but I gotten so much requests to do it, and now we see what happened. I'm gonna check. It's still there. I need to go to the 3000 stone. Actually, I'm gonna take care of it really quick. It's a real pain in the ass when that happens, and strops get easily contaminated. So easy. It's ridiculous. That's why I hate them. And almost never strop. I use the stones if I'm in need for stropping. And that's it. Barbers too, I don't understand why you strop all the time on leather. Why just don't get a very very fine stone and just use that. I can't fathom it, because leather, it can get dust, particles, etc. We are still running. I'm just removing the ship. I'm mad as hell. Why did I choose to strop and screw up my edge? But as you saw how sharp it still was, even though it got a tiny tiny ship. But I show you everything. I could just lie and say it was fault free, but no, that's not me. I'm completely honest. I barely felt anything on the nail. It was just like it dragged just the tiniest amount more. That was it. Just the tiniest amount more. Like it was completely smooth grabbing my nail, and then suddenly it grabbed it just the tiniest amount. We are talking splitting hairs here, but just the tiniest amount more. And it shouldn't be like that. It should feel uniform. I'm just drying off. And, yep, it's gone. I'm just stropping in this now on my pants leg. And for people who are maybe now laughing, saying amateur, no, it's called being honest. I don't edit my video. I don't do anything. I show everything from start to finish. And again, this is a strong bright light here. I'm checking. Yep, it's all gone. Again, doing the nail. Can't feel anything. I remember it was here somewhere. Just checking the upper part. Are there something there? Oh, does it still cut freestanding magazine paper of a quickly sharpened 3000 stropped on just this? You see, it's a little bit worse. I need to strop it just the tiniest amount more. And that's because the 3000 is about 3-4 times as coarse as the natural. I can go over that, but I can't be bothered. I will fix it later. You saw how sharp it was. So. Trying a new piece. Smaller pieces are harder. There. That's it. I'm gonna go get a new piece. And that's two different papers. It's different cuts. This is glossy tin paper. So I'm gonna check. That won't even stand. So there. Well, it's for sure it can do it, but it's, I want to say 20% less sharp. But is it sharp enough? I'm going slow. The nick is completely gone now. Was there something there? Oh. That's plenty sharp. I like to do a little weird test. Grab like plastic bag or something. Just roll it up. Because this is incredibly thick. This is a freezing bag. Put in the freezer. And I wrap it up as hard as I can. as tight as I can. Like that. How many layers? And I check just by the weight of it, dragging it, and as you see, easily cuts it. I can cut it pretty damn easy. Then I got a sharp knife. Aaron we spoke earlier about baking paper. Just getting a smaller piece. This stuff, it's baking paper, it's thin. What? I have no clue since. Yep. It's a little bit, yeah, it can be sharper. It can be a good bit sharper, but it cuts this. And as I said, it's gonna see wood, so it's not needs super sharpness. But it disappointed me about the ship because the edge I got before I stropped it was just scary. Putting it away in its sheet. Kydex sheet, I always go edge up, lay the back there, line it up, slide it in, so I don't drag the edge into the Kydex. Aaron, your knife is heavily used and abused. I'm just gonna strop it on this again. I'm gonna check how sharp that is. I haven't sharpened this since the last video. It does it, but there it goes. And it stopped. There. This is actually a little, you see, too polished. This needs to have some bite reinstored. It's too polished, but it's still plenty sharp. It's like I said, you don't need stupid sharpness in a blade. Cutting tomatoes, cutting food, you don't need stupid sharpness. You see, it hesitates. But hey, this I've seen hell of a lot of use. I think if I do... You see me fail. It's funny. I've done this so many times. Even big standing with this freshly sharpened. There. But it's not where it was. And that's what reuse does. But if I can do this, if I can take magazine paper without any hesitation or hiccups, I can slice it. Then of course it will cut wood. Of course it's yeah. Of course this will cut food. like, yeah. It's sharp enough. It does the job. If it's sharp enough to do the job, you have no clue if it can do curly goose. Probably, yeah, there it goes, but it's sharp enough. It doesn't need to be sharper. You can use this maybe 3 or 4 times more before needing a sharpening. Then it's back to the stalls. I'll get a new knife for Marion. Holy hell, that's gonna be a revelation. So yeah, thanks for watching. You saw my mistakes, my errors. It's fun to actually have some. It makes me human. Please press like, subscribe, and Aaron, put me on the big screen. Thanks for watching. Bye.